Hey man, it's your boy YG, aka Ngala, and this debate is never going to end.
Nope.
Every time I hear the LeBron versus MJ argument, I just avoid it now because it's almost impossible to change somebody's opinion about a player.
So impossible.
Watching them. But we're going to hear more of this once LeBron retired. And honestly, they're two different players that have two different play styles and played in two different eras. It's like comparing apples and oranges. But that's what makes the debate fun because you get to hear two different perspectives of a fan that grew up watching Michael Jordan play and a fan that grew up watching LeBron play. But I always wonder, what do NBA legends have to say?
And that's the thing about it. We always be doing those debates like, who is the greatest of all time? Is it LeBron James? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it somebody else? Like, we don't really like take in perspective of, you know, people that play the game, like former players in the NBA. I think a lot of people be so biased because they played against that person these days. I'd much rather just get the analysts, but it's so hard to compare errors these days just because, you know, like he said, different rules, different play styles, two different players, just depending on what they want on your team. So it's really hard to say who is the greatest player of all time and all that. So I kind of understand where he's coming from here. So it's going to be interesting to see what NBA legends think of who's the greatest player of all time. Definitely, there's going to be some bias on some NBA players, especially Isaiah Thomas, because he hates Georgia so much. So he is just going to do anything he can to say that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, just because he hates Michael Jordan so much, just because Michael Jordan took Chicago away from him. So let's go ahead and continue this video.
So anyways, man, we're going to listen to NBA legends and players share who they think is better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. But before we get straight into that, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the culture so you won't be missing any of my videos. And let's get to the vid, man.
We compare MJ to obviously the greatest in the world today, and a lot of people.
Irvin Magic Johnson, greatest Laker of all time.
Comparisons specifically.
Well, first of all, let's not take anything away from LeBron James. Because LeBron James is a great basketball player, one of the all-time greatest that's ever played the game. LeBron James, to me, when you think about all-around basketball player, he's probably the best of all time, right? An all-around basketball player. But when you want to say who's the greatest ever, it's still Michael Jordan. Now, LeBron James' chapter is not closed yet.
That's facts.
He still has some basketball.
He's still playing.
So maybe he has a chance to catch him.
But I don't think he will ever catch him, though.
Some more championships under his belt. But at the end of the day, they're both great. And they played the game the right way. They made their teammates better. They've won championships. And thank God for LeBron, because right now, that's what we're watching. We're watching LeBron James. This is his time. This is his era.
Facts.
And he's dominating this era and in his time.
No, I mean, I disagree with Zeke. I think Jordan is the greatest of all time in my book. You know?
What makes him better as a basketball player?
T-Mac, Scottie Pippen.
Better as a basketball player, like
Scottie Pippen. Oh, Jesus Christ!
For me, I think this completely just taking over games. You know, when it really counts, not deferring to anybody at any given time. Yeah, there's times where he passed off to a John Paxson or a Steve Kerr. Yeah, but when it's time to get a bucket,
he gets it done.
I mean, MJ was that dude to take over a game, averaging 40 in the finals one year.
Scott is thinking, it's me, Tracy. It's me, Tracy.
I can't. He's just the greatest to me, man.
Does Isaiah Thomas come?
Doesn't take away from LeBron. Is awesome.
Yeah.
Best
of course
that I've seen. He's the best. But the GOAT, that's
and I can praise LeBron in a different way because people like T-Mac, guys that can score, would love to play with a guy like LeBron.
Absolutely.
Because they want the ball as well.
That
but
is
when you
agreeable.
play with a guy like Michael, who's a superior scorer, and I played most of my career with him.
Oh, Jesus.
And when you hear a guy come out the huddle and you see that he wants the ball and he's working for it night in and night out, you can't compare him to LeBron because he's not that guy. LeBron is not going to be the guy that say, I want this last shot.
Yeah, it's going back to...
I hear that from Michael. I've heard that from him. Like, no matter what the situation is, get me the ball.
Yeah.
And basically, that tells me, get him the ball or I'm calling timeout.
Exactly.
No, it's hard for me to look back, you know, in a few of those finals where LeBron just was a no-show. You look at the first championship run with Miami, I guess that...
And that's the thing that everybody's going to bring up with LeBron for him not being the greatest is the letdown in the finals. The 2011 finals when he was pretty much didn't even show up against the Mavericks. They had no answer for the zone defense the Mavericks were playing. They couldn't do anything against the Mavericks. Stoke was unbelievable. 07, I mean, I can't really count 07. I mean, it's still a loss, but like he didn't really have much of a team going up against a really talented Spurs team with Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. Parker win the Finals MVP. So, I mean, I can't really put that against him. Then you had, lost to San Antonio again in 2014. Kawhi Leonard was just unbelievable that series. And it's that's a loss right there. The Golden State Warriors in 2015, that's a loss. 2017 with KD in 2018. I mean, KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond. Yeah, I mean, that's a superior team. That's like a more superior team than the Cavs. I don't know how in the world he got the 2018 Cavs to the finals. That's just unbelievable, though. So it's tough. It's tough for him to be the greatest of all time because them losses really it takes an effect right there because everybody's gonna go say 6 for 6 for Michael Jordan. He won 6 out of 6 championships, 100%, crazy.
In that Dallas series, I mean, it's hard for me to get over that how he performed in that. Now he's learned over the years of going back and being dominant, but to have those mishaps, I mean, MJ never had that in his championship.
Do you think LeBron James is up there with the greatest players?
Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Yes. I will, depends on how you see, because according to the position that he plays, when people start comparing with Jordan, then that's not a fair comparison.
Yes.
Because, Jordan is far more superior player and a very, very tough league and very, very
different rules.
Very creative.
Different era.
I mean, that's not taking anything away from LeBron James because he's a great player. But it's not a fair comparison because I think Jordan is much far superior player.
Is LeBron entering Michael Jordan territory?
Patrick Ewing.
LeBron James is a great player. He's a great player in this era, but he's not Michael Jordan. It's two different animals. Michael was a killer. He's an assassin. LeBron is more of a facilitator. He's the guy that you're gonna give the ball. And
Michael must have paid Patrick Ewing off.
He's thinking shoot first before pass. With Michael, you give him the ball, he's thinking he's gonna score 50 on you, and then he's gonna pass. And
I really want to give love to Patrick Ewing real quickly, man. He was a great player, very unappreciated player. One of the best centers of all time, one of the best centers of the 90s. Them Knicks teams were so good, but man, they always be going against the Bulls or it'd be the Pacers. And man, they went to that they went to 2 NBA finals, lost to Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets and losing to the New York Knicks. Man, you just want to see Patrick Ewing win a championship so bad back in the day. And unfortunately, he is going to be in the same realm as a Karl Malone a John Stockton, a Reggie Miller, all because Michael Jordan dominated the 90s.
And Michael Jordan was the best player, the greatest player in my era. There's been a lot of great players in this league, and it's hard to, to give one player that best ever crown. But all I can say is in my era, Michael Jordan was the best player in my era. And he's, I haven't seen anybody else. Kobe is, I guess, came the closest to him. But LeBron is great, but he's not Michael Jordan.
No.
Is LeBron close to surpassing MJ in your book?
No.
Not at all? Where do you rank him? Like top 5, top 7?
Well, definitely top 3. Mm-hmm. But I don't like having this conversation because I actually know all these guys. But I know LeBron, and I think this is LeBron's plan. I think he wants to pass up Kareem.
Yes, he does.
If he passes up Kareem in point, we all got to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
think about it.
For sure.
He going to have 4 rings. You already passed up Kobe. You already passed up Mike. Now he passed up Kareem. So if that don't make him the greatest basketball player is, I don't know, what we're talking about. But like when it comes to ranking, it's always just going to be Mike, going to be Kobe, and then probably LeBron.
Kobe needs to be in these conversations too.
That's always, debatable. But again, I don't think LeBron wants to be compared to Kobe and Mike. LeBron has definitely made his own mark.
Yeah.
But I know him and known him since he was a kid. He trying to pass up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And if I was him, I'd do the same thing. Because I'd be like, once I pass up Kareem, I don't want to hear shit else about who the best.
The things that he is doing on the court now,
the ammo.
I'm a big Michael Jordan guy. That was my era. But LeBron's making a great argument to be, one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Let me ask you.
LeBron James is the greatest player ever.
That's what
I say. I
Greater than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think so. You cannot tell me in a one-on-one game now that LeBron James wouldn't dominate Mike.
Ooh, Jalen walked off the set.
60 pounds. If the game
The Cavaliers have LeBron James. He's the best there is.
Bill and Bill.
Do you think he's better than Jordan?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
He's 6'8", 285, runs like the wind, jumps out of the gym. And from the moment he walked in the league, his teams won.
You think LeBron is not as good as Michael Jordan?
Oscar, no.
What do you think? LeBron is in a class by himself.
Oscar.
Very few players. I'm trying to think if there's anybody besides LeBron.
Shout out to JJ Redick. He's a great analyst on ESPN.
And size and athleticism.
Great analyst.
And strength. So I think it's. Look, LeBron is. I think the greatest player to ever play.
The conversation, it really is
one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time.
Just based purely on generationally, the game changes. Ever so many years, and I played against both of them obviously, and both of them were dominant in each way that they possibly could be. The way the game is, the way the rules have changed. What the most important thing is that each individual player, based on who you grew up with, they grow you up. They're your childhood idol or favorite, whatever it may be.
This is an old video.
I had the opportunity to grow up with Michael Jordan, and I believe he will always be the greatest. And their kids now, they grow up and they'll say Steph Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant will be the greatest in their minds, because that's who will be nostalgic for them as they grow up and become adults.
There's Kareem.
Oh, God. Here comes Zeke.
Debate, in terms of Jordan and LeBron. And on any given night, who do you like? For me, I look at, the total body of work where LeBron James is as a basketball player. And if I had to pick one over the other, right now I'm picking LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever put on shoes and play in our game. No doubt about it. I'm always asked about questions to compare him to LeBron. I try to make the best of it.
Look at T-Mac.
I try to make the best of it, but really, the comparison shouldn't ever be made. They both play 2 different positions. The way LeBron James played, Michael Jordan was never asked to play that way, because I took that away from him. I was the point forward. I was the facilitator. Jordan is a scorer. He was a defender. He played the game as complete as LeBron James did when he needed to, but he was asked to score the basketball, and that's what he was great at. And there's no game that I would ever play in and pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
No game.
No game.
So now you're just being
not if I'm
firm
trying to
about it.
win. Not if I'm trying to win. I mean, I'm not going to give up my teammate who I won 6 championships with.
But I know Michael pretty well.
Jerry West.
And we've talked about things like that. But
I hate that the Lakers did this to him.
Question that if you're a great player, and certainly I'm not sure we've seen a player like him in my lifetime, because his impressive play on both ends of the court. He was arguably, well, I don't think arguably, he was the best offensive player and the best defensive player in the league. We haven't seen that before. And but the competitive nature of Michael was just unique. And if there's someone that was sort of a challenge to him in terms of, talking about the best player in the league, he was going to prove that wasn't the case. And and also he was going to lead his team. He was just a fierce competitor, but physically, I'm not sure we've seen a package like that. The quickness, the lateral quickness, the vertical, the running, gigantic hands, being able to
huge hands.
Do things in the air that we see we haven't really seen anyone do like him.
I think there needs to be a line in the sand and no more comparisons, because it just can't
see well.
Jordan didn't come straight out of high school. What if Jordan would have played 2 more years? Jordan played in a different era, So I'm kind of worn out of the comparisons, because I think you still have to talk about him being better than Kobe. You can't just jump up to Jordan. I don't think numbers just mean it, and I think maybe he is the greatest teammate of all time instead of individual players. So when you get into the weeds of it, I've heard some really good arguments, and I can agree with those, but the overall arguments, I'm not sure, because one day Durant's going to break all of those, and I think Durant will actually break Kareem's record. So it means a lot.
If he stays healthy.
That he did that, and I'm congratulations, very happy for him, but it doesn't do anything in the argument of who's better to me.
The reason that I feel LeBron is the GOAT is because during pressure times, he still makes the actual right decision versus what us fans and the public wants him to do. And that's what separates, him from Jordan and Kobe, where if you give Jordan and Kobe those Cavs teams, they wouldn't make the playoffs. They wouldn't have made it to the championship, because Jordan would have just averaged 60 and said, the hell with it. We were spoiled by Jordan.
Wow.
The grace he brought to the game, his fierceness, the way he ended games. And when Kobe came, we seen Jordan-like. So what ends up happening is when you have a player like LeBron who comes into the game, who doesn't have the instincts of Jordan and Kobe, they're going to take that last shot no matter what. We feel that if you're the best player, you're the star. You're compared to Jordan and Kobe, you should be Jordan and Kobe-like, which is not necessarily correct. Jordan and Kobe possessed something LeBron didn't have, which was a first step, which made them one-on-one players. LeBron came in as Magic Johnson, meaning his vision is his key. As someone who loved Michael Jordan and Kobe, we get mad and we want to knock him because he's using his vision when we allow them to use their one-on-one skill to finish plays. It's unfair to say you can use your one-on-one skills, but you can't use your gift. You can't use your vision. You can't see the open man. You're supposed to chuck the shot up, and if it goes in, we're going to cheer you on. If you miss it, we're going to say, he don't have it. No, this is what makes him great. The ability to see the open guy if he's not the open guy. Just like Jordan made himself the open guy. But we didn't knock him when he passed it to Steve Kerr. He didn't pass it to him knowing he was going to make the shot. He passed it to him hoping he would make that
Is that right?
Right? Yeah. Okay. I did play against Jordan.
Okay, the second best player you played against.
I did play against Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. So, I think right there, I don't really have an order. I could think MJ's there, and then you have Kobe, and probably the second. But
go Michael Jordan.
Okay, listen. And this is LeBron is one of my good friends. I have so much respect for what he's
D-Wade?
doing now, what he's done, and what he would eventually do, because he's not done yet. So it's definitely, I'm going to say this, it would definitely be an argument that would need to be had. If LeBron James end up the #1 scorer of all time, top 5 in assists and top 5 in rebounds, and have 4, 5, 6 championships, you cannot do nothing but have the conversation of who's the greatest of all time.
The conversation's already happening.
But the conversation's been happening. But it's not good. LeBron's still playing. It's hard to have that conversation about the greatest of all time when a man is still putting on his jersey, right? So, but when he's done, his lineup, his statistical lineup is going to be the greatest that's ever played the game when it comes to scoring, assists, rebounds, so forth and so on. I come from a Jordan era. I am biased, and I'm going to be a bias to the day I pass away. Michael Jordan will be my GOAT.
I always loved you. I love you even more.
He will be my GOAT. But that doesn't mean it. I'm not taking anything away from LeBron. LeBron is amazing, but Michael Jordan is my GOAT. I play basketball because of Michael Jordan. Yeah. Like, my thing is like, this is a real conversation, right? You are, all of us have our own individual opinions. This has nothing to do with, like I said, once LeBron James is done playing this game of basketball, I'm definitely going to tell my grandkids, kids, that I played with one of the greatest to play the game of basketball. He will be the GOAT for a lot of generations. I started playing the game because of Michael Jordan. He will be my GOAT until the day I pass away. It doesn't take anything away from LeBron. This is just like LeBron. We started playing, we envisioned playing like Michael Jordan. So for me, from Chicago, where I grew up, I made it out the hood because I seen a dude, number 23, play the game of basketball at a level that I was like, I just want to do some of that. So it doesn't take anything away from LeBron. LeBron will be the GOAT of this generation that has watched him grow up, just like we watched Michael Jordan kind of grow and go into what we call a GOAT. That's why I always say my GOAT. This is not personal. LeBron's my guy, but Jordan is my GOAT.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and give me your most unbiased opinion on why Jordan is better than LeBron, or why LeBron is better than Jordan. So make sure you like, share.
And that was a great video. Having to listen to different perspectives from former NBA players, NBA legends on who they think is the greatest of all time is between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. This debate is just so tiring because it's one of those debates that there is no right answer. It's just a lot of nostalgia, who people grew up to watch, who people say that, okay, he's a great player, but he doesn't do it like this guy, or, this guy's a better all-around player, or, it's just like, you can't really compare eras. It's two completely different players. All we see, look, their resume speaks for themselves. Doesn't really matter what your list is. It's your list. That's your opinion at the end of the day. I say that Michael Jordan's the GOAT to me. Look, there might be young kids that say LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Totally understand, because they saw LeBron James play. They didn't see Michael play. Now, D-Wade said something too interesting not too long ago, saying that we'll probably forget about Michael Jordan the next 15 or 20 years of, because, the young kids never saw Jordan play basketball. They seen the highlights, or they do YouTube reaction videos like this to be like, okay, who is this Michael Jordan, So, that's an interesting take right there. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Please comment down below. But I like Gilbert Arenas' perspective. He gave his GOAT, but I like his perspective of what he was talking about in terms of, LeBron came into the league. He wasn't trying to be, he doesn't have that killer instinct. He was like a Magic Johnson. He was passing the ball, putting people in the right places, trying to make the right plays. When he makes the right plays and someone misses, we criticize him for why he didn't take the last shot, just because Michael Jordan and Kobe would take the last shot, because they're the guys that need to score the basketball. Imagine if Steve Kerr missed the shot, or John Paxson missed the shot, or a guy like, Robert Ory missed the shot. So it's, it's just like unfair, treatment, unfair opinions. But that's what people think of at the end of the day. But I love the video breakdown. I don't want to hold y'all too up to it. It's a great breakdown. Great stuff. Definitely comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on who you think is the greatest of all time between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Definitely subscribe down below to It's Just JP for more basketball content. Please click the notification bell. You will know when my next upload is. Comment down below and tell me what you want me to react to next. On our way to 1,500 subscribers. I thank you all so much for the love and support you have given me. And God bless to each and every one of you. Good night. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.